Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Silver Creek Church. My name is Raven Miller, and we are so thrilled to have you with us, whether you're in person or online. I just have a few quick notes for you before we share today's message. So for our bathrooms, you can follow this hallway to the left here and back to the right. Also, we have an amazing children's ministry. We feel very confident that your children will have a wonderful time today. Now, for giving, if you feel so inclined to do so, we have a gift station located in the back, or you can give online at silvercreek.church. Now, we are going to receive an amazing message today from Pastor Matt Nichols on Give, Serve, Love. But for right now, we ask that you get comfortable in your seats, relax, and enjoy today's message. And following that will be Alexis as she leads us in worship. Thank you.
So good morning. Welcome to Silver Creek Church. It's exciting to talk today with a message. And I have to say something. Halloween was just yesterday. And I know Friday our church was represented in the community helping with a trick-or-treat event, handing out 600 full-size candy bars and then umpteen amounts of other candy after that because the candy bars ran out, I guess, within the first hour, which is incredible. So thank you to all the volunteers, everyone who was out there and helping to represent and be the light and salt in the world around us. So thank you guys for being a part of that. But I want to know, I have a question. Are there any adults, talking to you guys here in this room right now, sorry if you're online, you're going to miss out on this next part. If there's any adults in here who just wish that you could have gone trick-or-treating and got some candy, is anybody there in that place? Today's your day. I got a couple things. I saw it. There was one over here. Who was it? All right. So get that out of the way. See, you get free things when you come to church. You never know. You don't know what's going to happen. But I do need to bring up something. There's an elephant in the room. And where that saying originated has been argued a lot. Like, where did the idea of the saying come up? There's an elephant in the room we need to discuss. Because elephants are huge. I mean, you're talking about 14 foot tall, usually 15,000 pounds. If an elephant was in this room, you couldn't miss it. It would be smashing up the ceiling. And in a lot of pain, actually, because the ceiling's not even 8 foot tall. But an elephant in the room would be something no one would miss. And so that phrase, that saying, somebody came up with it. I've read into it. There's some people say that it first came out from somebody who was addressing an issue in a newspaper about the elephant in the room, talking about that. But wherever it came from, whatever it is, we use that phrase today as a way of saying, hey, there's something that we need to talk about. In other words, there's something on everybody's mind. Everybody knows there's something that we gotta address because we didn't come to talk about that today necessarily, but it's in the air, like it's in the back of everyone's mind. And so the elephant that I see in the room that I originally was not planning to talk about today, but I feel like I need to, is Election Day is Tuesday. And everyone's like, yeah? If you're like me, you've received so much mail from every kind of politician, from every kind of party you can imagine. This year, I swear, I have gotten more mail than I've ever gotten in a previous election year. Ever before. I mean, it's nuts. I've had, and we're talking daily from the same person. I've gotten like from full-size glossy color to little booklets even, postcard size, you name it. I've gotten it this year. I feel like there's just a lot of money was put into sending stuff out through mail. I've seen ads on TV, which I think that's pretty typical for the last elections recently. I can remember there's always a lot of ads on TV. Social media, though, that's something that's new within the last, say, 10 years that really now social media is utilized in a huge way, promoting political campaigns and their ads. I've gotten text messages to not even my name saying, hey, Robin, and tell me, I'm like, I'm not Robin. I finally sit back to one person and said, okay, let's stop playing games. I'm not Robin, and you're probably not Dave, so let's just be honest. Because I'm like, come on. Then they said, we'll be taking you off our list. I said, all right. But the point is that it's out there all around us. You can't miss it. I mean, I had breakfast this morning at a restaurant somewhere, and it was all over the TVs. There's ads coming up and talking about it on the news programs, and everybody's talking about it. It's around us. You can't have a pulse in America this week and not know that there is a huge election coming up. And I've been alive for like, as I thought back, 12 elections now. And out of the 12, there's 9 that I can remember. I was too young for the first 3, I think, to really care or think a whole lot about it. But I can remember like little things about each of the 9 last elections. And there's some things that I find in common. And I don't think we even need to start talking today about the actual candidates in this election and what each one is saying or what they're concerned about, because we've heard it. We've all heard it in so many different ways. It's out there, it's all around us. But the reason I bring it up is because it's on our mind. We can't help it. It's on our mind, it's all around us. And most people that I know seem to be fairly decided on who they're voting for. Most people, but there are a few. I was just talking to somebody this last weekend who said to me, hey, I don't really want to say this like in public out loud because I feel like so many people like would judge me for it, but I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for. And I said, really? I mean, I was surprised, and then I checked my face. Oh no, really? I try not to act because I just assumed that because there's so much out there, and I keep hearing so much about people who are adamantly positive about what they're doing. They'll say it on social media or whatever. I thought, okay, there's still people, but there are still people undecided. And as I think back to, actually, as I talked to this person, they said, I keep seeing so much stuff on the news and so much stuff on text and media. They said, I don't know what to believe. And I said, well, I get that. They said, I don't know what to believe. There's just so much saying, this one says yes, that one says no, this one says black, this one says white, this one says red, this one says yellow. You don't know, what's the truth, because each one says something so much different. And one thing that I know is that Rachel and I thought about it. We said, when, out of those 9 elections I remember, when do we ever remember there being an election year where we were having a hard time choosing a candidate because they were both just so darn good? Like, when can we remember that we were like, man, I could pick either one. They're both awesome. We don't ever remember that. We don't ever remember the last 9 elections where we were just like convinced that we couldn't pick one because whoever gets in is just going to be awesome. We never did. We always felt like, no, there's one that we feel like should be the one. Or there's one that, or there's even been that where we're like, we don't know who to vote for. We don't like either one. or who do we go for? And I remember one year we even voted for those of you who may remember, there was a guy named Ross Perot years ago. We were one of the ones that voted for Ross Perot. And then after the election, they're telling the results, and here's this many million or hundreds of thousands for this one, and then, here's Ross Perot's numbers. And we thought, oh, okay. We felt like, dang, because we were just so not happy with the established typical politician thing. We wanted to do something a little different, so we voted differently that year. But I think we can all agree that, maybe at least, but I'm assuming that we can all agree that we can't remember a time where there was both. Like, whoever got elected, we were just totally, okay, whatever. There's going to be times where you're like, no, I'm not sure. And there's times where you're like, okay, I don't like either one, so now what do I do? And I think that's what I've heard of the folks that I have heard that are undecided are in that boat. They're like, I don't like either one, so what do I do now? Where's option C? But I want to ask you to be careful, not to be fooled. Don't be fooled by the Democratic Party. Don't be fooled by the Republican Party. Because these two parties spend every hour of every day trying to figure out ways to cast shadows of doubt on the other person. That's what they do. I mean, you got to understand that. If there's somebody in the room going, oh, what? I mean, please listen. You got to understand. That's a fact. Because out of all the elections I've been alive for so far, and there's people who've been alive for many more than me, but out of all of them so far, the candidates change every 4 years, but the messages never change. The candidates change, but the messages are always the same. It's always, well, be careful of this person because here's what they're going to do if they get in, or be careful of that person, here's what they're going to do, or watch out, look out. And it's always to make us feared and afraid of, well, what if that one or that one? And then you wind up not knowing what to believe because there's so much fear on both candidates. You don't know what to do or what to believe. They like to stretch truths. They'll take a truth that's a truth about a person. You ever seen somebody do this? Not even with candidates. It happens in the real world around us. Take a truth about a person and they stretch it. Well, they said this, but here, let's stretch it and look a little different. They'll take a single sentence out of a person's speech and then just play that sentence and make it go, but you didn't hear what was happening before that or after that sentence. But they'll take that one sentence and build a whole conspiracy around it or make us think that something's going to happen because of a sentence. I mean, this happens. It happens on both sides. And if you're sitting here thinking right now, well, Okay, it may happen on both sides, but it happens on the other side a lot more than my side. I gotta tell you, be careful, because you're probably being made a fool of right now, because it happens on both sides. If you find yourself thinking, well, my side's not doing it as much, come on, man. You're being naive, because it happens on both sides. Ask questions. Be objective. Be objective when you're making an important decision. Ask questions. And please admit that your party, if you support a party, or if you're going to vote for a certain party, admit that that party could be flawed. Just not saying perfect or imperfect, that's flawed. I think we can all agree that human beings are flawed. They're led by human beings, and human beings can be flawed people. And because of that, they could be flawed at their distribution of their facts or their things they're trying to say. Because that, being objective, asking questions, that's a good start towards wisdom. That's how we find wisdom. Wisdom isn't, oh wow, I'm lucky and I made the right choice. That's not wisdom. Wisdom is, I'm gonna be objective. I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna research this. I'm not just gonna take the first thing I hear as the truth. I'm gonna research it. That's where wisdom is found. Because you gotta realize, always in life with any topic, you could be wrong. And so be open to look into it more. You owe it to yourself to remain objective and hear out anyone who disagrees with you. Like, well, I don't wanna talk to them. They disagree with me. You owe it to yourself to just hear them out. We find wisdom when we sit down with someone who doesn't think like we think, and we allow ourselves to be open and challenged by what they might have to say. There's nothing horrible gonna happen to you if you do that. Only things that happen is we open up and we learn. And I gotta warn you something else too. I mean, if you don't like this election year, it's only gonna get worse as the years come. Because they have a tendency to build on what they've done before and say, well, that worked, well, let's do more of that. Or that didn't work, we won't do that. But that's what it tends to do, is it tends to get more, I would call it immature, unfortunately, as time goes on. Because the reason that this election is the way it is right now isn't because of who the candidates are that are running. It's because of the parties that back them both up. Because the parties have always been doing it all this time. So, we watch it every day and we don't like what we see. They're like watching children on a playground who are upset at each other and calling each other names, misbehaving, using tactics that are not called manners. It's behavior that we wouldn't condone. Certainly we wouldn't teach it to be done by our own kids. But Silver Creek Church, we have a mission. Silver Creek Church, we have a mission, and that is to inspire people to follow Jesus Christ. It's very simple. Our mission is to inspire people to follow Jesus Christ. A question right here, inspire. We chose this word on purpose. Because to inspire someone is more than just tell someone. Like we could have said, our mission is to tell people to follow Jesus Christ. Okay, follow Jesus. That would be a very forward way of getting the word out. We're going to tell everyone to follow Jesus. We're going to make signs. Follow Jesus Christ. You're going to die soon. You better follow Jesus. We could do that, but is that going to inspire them to do something about it? Is that going to inspire them to take that step? If you want someone to believe what you believe and what you believe is different, telling them isn't enough. Being right isn't enough. If you know you're right, it's not enough. You've got to inspire them. And to inspire them requires us to put ourselves eye to eye, same level. If we think we're above them, then we got to come down. If we think they're above us, we got to come up. But to make yourself eye to eye with that person and say, let's talk. And I am not going to judge you. I want to hear you. When someone feels like they want to hear, let's face it, if you hear someone say, I want to hear what you got to say, okay, you're going to share. And that's what it takes, is to inspire people to follow Jesus Christ. And we believe the best way to carry out this mission is to create irresistible environments where that can happen. Because we want all people. Did I say all people? We want all people, no matter what the color of your skin is, to feel like we love you. We want all people, whether you're born in Michigan or whether you're born in California, to feel like we love you. We want all people, whether they're married or unmarried, all people, whether they're two parents in their home or it's a single parent in their home, all people, even if they're a Muslim or if they're a Catholic, if they like Werners or Schweppes. Okay, the hospital only has Schweppes, by the way. They're in Michigan. What's up with that? Just a little side thing, I don't know. If you eat Viennas or Frankfurters, big debate on Viennas and Frankfurters. It's like, which one do you do? Either way, you love people either way. If you love Michigan or Michigan State, oh wow, is that timing for that one? I went to Michigan State, so yeah.
Go what?
Anyway, I was gonna wear my, and I thought, no, I can't wear that today. but I can wear green, that's okay. But if you're even, listen, this is gonna bring us all together. Even if you're an Ohio State fan, we're supposed to love them. We're supposed to love them. We're called to show love to everyone, guys, and everyone means everyone, to inspire people to follow Jesus Christ. So, we want people to feel loved and accepted and like they belong here, even when we look different from each other. We want all people. And here's what I'm trying to get at. On Tuesday, we'll all be watching to see who's going to be our next president of the United States. We'll be watching that night on the television. We'll be wondering what's going on, or if you can't, you'll be checking messages to see what's going on. And on Wednesday, and sometimes it takes till Thursday, but soon after Wednesday, there's going to be a lot of people in the nation who are going to be happy because their candidate won. But there's also going to be a lot of people who are not going to be happy because their candidate didn't. Our mission, our job is to be kind toward the other half. Wherever you find yourself on the side of, our mission is to be kind to the other half who feel like hope is all gone come Wednesday, who feel like the fears that they've been hearing about are now going to come full-faced in front of them on Wednesday. Because there's been parties on both sides drilling into everyone's heads, fears about this, that, and the other. Somebody's going to be facing that on Wednesday. And here's the thing. We're called to be peculiar, to stand out. We're called to be different. People might expect us, like if people know how we're going to vote, people might expect us to maybe celebrate or to flaunt it if ours wins. They might expect that, but what if we could be peculiar and different? What if we could be people of understanding towards the party that doesn't win? Imagine how that would get noticed. Imagine how that might cause someone to be inspired to find out what you got to say if you're going to act like that, because that's love. That's what love looks like. So Silver Creek Church, we have an opportunity to be different, to be amazing, and to show love. Because come this next week, you are going to be on center stage. Everyone's going to be watching you to see how you're going to react on Wednesday based on what happens in the election. Everyone's looking. And to answer that best, we have to ask the question, who do we put our trust in? If we're in a position this week where we're going, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do, who do we put our trust in? Whether you're feeling like a winner or whether you're feeling like a loser, you must put your politics aside and put your faith in Jesus Christ. That's the bottom line. You know, we can think back to Rome. Think back like in history. Rome had politicians. Rome had a lot of politicians. And politicians in Rome put a lot of the rules, if you want to call them that, in place, a lot of the laws in place of how they conducted their life and what was right and what was wrong. And if you were a Christian, who, by the way, weren't called Christians then, but if you were, they were just starting to take that name on, but if you were a Jesus follower, if you were somebody who said, yeah, I'm following after that guy, Jesus Christ, who died several years ago, but guess what? He actually rose again. If you were one of those people in Rome, you were not popular. Rome did not like people who identified with Jesus Christ. They didn't like them. And politicians put into place the ability to make a spectacle of them. They even took, sometimes in place their bodies onto skewers in the streets to create a light for them, for the people to see at night. Basically a human street lamp as they screamed and suffered. So, you know, we could think about horrible things that could happen to this election, but think about Rome, okay? There's some people, a group of people who were Jesus followers, who were facing horrible situations where you didn't know. Like they were used to the idea that tomorrow I'm probably going to get news that someone I know has been killed. It could have been my sister, could have been my mother, my father, it could have been my son, my daughter, simply because of their faith in Jesus Christ. They were used to the idea that, oh, I hope I don't hear it, but when somebody knocks on the door, boom, 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 and their faces are drowned, you're preparing yourself for who you're about to hear has just been killed. They were used to that. That was everyday life, and they still kept on their faith. And they still kept showing love to these people who were trying to kill them, which is crazy. It's weird that they would do that, but it got noticed. You see, they could have created their own political party and said, hey, let's try to change it through their own political system. Let's try to vote for certain people and see if we could change it that way. They chose not to. They chose instead to do what Jesus Christ told them to do, which was to love other people, despite how they were treated, despite how hopeless everything seemed around them. I mean, you talk about hopelessness. That's hopelessness. And they were still inspired to follow Jesus Christ. It was as if they weren't even afraid of death. In fact, they had the reputation for not fearing death at all. Instead, they chose to put their faith in Jesus Christ. And the reason that Romans didn't like Christians, the reason they killed Christians, is because Rome felt like their beliefs, their religion were at threat. And if you think about it, the thing that we fear most about whoever wins the election next week has to do with what we're afraid could happen. There's fears of threats, of things that could change that we believe very strongly in. And that motivates us to want to, oh my gosh, we got to do something about this. We got to vote for the right person. We're moved by this, right? But those people in Rome, those Jesus followers in Rome, were known not because of the political party that they voted with. They probably weren't even allowed to vote. They were known because of the way they showed love to those who didn't like them, who didn't believe what they believed. It's because of their amazing love. And in words of someone I know named Tina, what has love got to do with it? For those of you guys online, what has love got to do with it? I'll tell you what love's got to do with it. It's got everything to do with it, because love is that thing that inspires people. Think about it. You watch a movie, a love story, does it do something? It inspires you. It inspires you. When we see a hero, what is it that drove that hero to do something amazing? It was love. Love inspires us to want to be amazing like that hero that we just watched or heard about. It's love that inspires us. It's love that inspires a parent to do things for that child that they would never do for anyone else. To have grace and love unconditionally. It's love that inspires us. Now Paul, the Apostle Paul who wrote a lot of the New Testament, he writes about love. And if you've been around the church very long, or if you've studied this very much, then you'll know that 1 Corinthians chapter 13, they call it the love chapter. Love. And he talks about it a lot. And here's what Paul says. I'm going to pull this up, verse number 4. Here's what Paul says about love. Love is patient. You're like, okay, that's awesome. Yeah, patience. Patience is always good for love. Love is kind. Okay, now, kind is kind of tricky, because to be kind, it means that you have to be thinking about what will bother them, not what bothers me. But for me to be kind to you, I have to think about what would bother you, what would cause discomfort for you, for me to be kind to you. And each person's different, so for me to be kind towards different people, we all do this every day. We make we make considerations differently for different people because we want to be kind toward them. It does not envy, and that's pretty simple, right? That's, in other words, you're not jealous of that person, right? It does not boast. We won! Get careful. We did not boast. It's not proud. It's not like, yeah, I knew it was going to happen all along. Not proud at all. It continues. It does not dishonor others. Now, dishonor takes it takes it to another level, right? Because to honor somebody, I think that's a higher level than kindness. To honor somebody, you're saying, okay, now I'm going to give you a place where, like, I'm putting you above me. Honor puts someone above you. In other words, like, you're feeling like now they're better than you. So it doesn't dishonor others. It's not self-seeking. So in other words, I'm not just looking out for what's good for me. It's not easily angered. Let's be honest, we can all get a little upset and angry sometimes, depending on what's happening. Not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs. So in other words, it's not keeping score. It's not saying, well, you did this, and so me doing that is justified because, look at the record. Just look right here. No, there's no record of wrongs. Continues in verse 6. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. And you've probably read this verse a lot, like I have, and you're probably like, oh yeah, evil and truth. Yeah, good and evil. But you got to understand, when Paul was writing about truth, he was referring to Jesus Christ. Because Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So read that in those terms. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth in Jesus Christ. So that's not just truth as far as, well, hey, as long as I'm right, I know the truth, then I can rejoice with what I know. No. You got to come back to what Jesus said is the truth. What is Jesus saying the truth is? So Verse 7, it always protects. To protect somebody, I'm going to go out of my way to make you feel safe. I'm going to go out of my way to walk up to you and say, here, what can I do? If you're a gentleman and you're walking with a lady down the street, you're going to put yourself on the outside towards traffic and put the lady on the inside away from traffic. To take little things into consideration that can make them feel safe. Right? Trust. It always trusts. Trusting is saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to believe the best. Another way to say I'm going to believe the best. Trust is saying, I know Al said to me this morning this thing, but I'm going to trust that he didn't mean what I think he meant by it. So I'm going to go talk to him about it afterwards. Always hopes, and not the Al. Al did not do that, by the way. That was awesome. We love Al. It always hopes. You're always hoping. Again, it goes right along with trust. You're hoping. You're like, look, I'm not doubting. I'm not like negative attitude. I'm hoping. And it always perseveres. Keep on pushing on. In other words, don't give up. Don't stop now. But see, if I was to ask Paul, like if we had a way of like, if heaven had a phone and I could pick up heaven and go, hey, Paul, can I talk to Paul for a second? Yo, Moses, what's up? Yeah, can I talk to Paul for a second? Okay. If we had a phone, wouldn't it be cool? Call heaven and be like, hey, I just wanted to ask a question real quick. It's expensive, long distance. But if we could make that call for a minute and say, hey, I got a question. Paul, I got a question for you. All this stuff you're saying about love, it's really good. 1 Corinthians 13, or you don't know 13. Well, you were writing that letter. Yeah, that letter, about love. You mentioned all this stuff to do about trusting, hoping, persevering. Like, how much do we have to do that? Like, how much, because sometimes we run into people who aren't very nice. I'm not saying they're a bad person, but, they could be libertarians, Democrats, or Republicans, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, people like that. How often are you saying that? And in verse 7, Paul says this. Verse 8, excuse me. I jumped ahead of you, sorry. But always, or no, I'm sorry, we are at 7. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Come back. I'm so sorry. Always protects. I was doubting myself. Always trusts. Always hopes. Always perseveres. See, we always looked at the words protect, trust, hope, and persevere, but in the process of that, we accidentally looked past something that he was saying over. It's like somebody going, and we're hearing protect, trust, if I'm paying attention, but he's saying, always, always, always. I mean, he's trying to make a point here, and I think he's making it pretty pointed, don't you think? Because he could have said, always protects, trust. There's a point being made here. Not some of the time, not, Tuesdays, or not when you first wake up and you think about it. Always. Paul's making a point that we are always to do this. Like, it's important or something. Like, it could be a calling card for how people would know who we are that we say we are. Now verse 8 says, love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. And cease, if you don't know what that means, it means stops. No more. Cease. They will cease. They will go away. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. What Paul's saying here, in other words, is there's always going to be a tomorrow. No matter what's going on, no matter what you think you're in the thick of right now, there's always a tomorrow. All the noise you're hearing around you right now is going to stop. We're all praying it stops us next week because we're tired of the ads and everything, right? I've heard everybody saying that, I can't wait till next week. It's going to finally stop all these ads and campaigns and da-da-da. It's all going to stop, guys. Probably around Wednesday. And on Wednesday, there's going to be a brand new day. And you're going to be on center stage. Everybody's going to be looking at you. So I'm asking you, please, 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 remember who you are. Remember who you are. I love the movie Lion King. I remember Rafiki the monkey coming up to Simba and whacking him on the head. You do not even know who you are. And just whacks him because he'd forgotten who he was. He had forgotten. It's like, oh yeah, I am the king's son. I am the one who can make a difference. I am the one who can help these people who need to be helped. It's not somebody else. It's not whoever gets voted in. It's me. I can make a difference. I can bring hope right now where people are thinking it's kind of hopeless. I can do that. And the world's not going to be rescued from their hurts and fears by who gets voted in as the next politician. It's not going to heal the world for their hurts and their fears. It's going to bring up some new ones possibly. But the world, the people around you in your life right now, the people that surround you in family and workplaces, friends, they are the ones who are going to need you more than ever this week. they're going to need you and they're going to need me to be that hope, to show strength because, not because of who got voted in, not because of what I believe or what I think or what I do, to show strength because of somebody named Jesus Christ. To show mercy because of Jesus Christ, not because I feel like it. To show love, not because I feel like it, but because of Jesus Christ. We have this event that we're kicking off this week called Give, Serve, Love. And the whole idea of Give, Serve, Love is based around this idea of love. Love is first and foremost, it's the motivation for all of it. But I'm asking us to please, this week, to start this week, to be weird, to be different. This is a time where it's okay to be weird. It's okay. Go ahead, be weird, be odd, be peculiar. Don't make the little remarks to rub it in a person's face when you see them at the workplace the next workday and it's like, I told you. Resist that, because watch what will happen if you don't do that. Your coworkers, your friends are going to go, okay, I totally expected you to rub that in my face. The fact that you didn't makes me want to know why. Why didn't you do that? Everybody else is doing that. It's going to open up conversations. You're always praying and asking God, give me opportunities to speak to someone's life. This is how you do it. Another song reference there for some of us back from the 80s, I think. But that's how it happens. That's how you make it happen. It's because you are doing something that Jesus instructed us to do, and we need to do it now more than ever. My mission is to love others. And at times, that means to do something different that I don't feel like doing. You see, when your kid's team wins a game or loses a game, what do you tell your kids to do? Whether they win or they lose. Shake hands and congratulate the other team. Be a good sportsmanship. Show good sportsmanship. And parents, our kids are watching us with this election to see whether what we tell them to do with a little silly thing like a game is really true or not. Because in real life, what it really matters, in a moment like this, how are we going to look with those people around us? Is what mom and dad teach really truly what they feel in their heart, or is it just something they say? So no matter who's elected this week, no matter who gets voted into office, I can promise you something. I know, you've heard promises a lot, right? I promise you something. No matter who gets elected, I promise you something. Jesus Christ is still going to continue his plan on this earth, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all who's voted in or who's the next president. So, with Give, we're going to put this up on the screen. With Give, this is what we're going to do. Next Sunday, this is our opportunity to be peculiar, be different, be a light. Next Sunday, I'm asking everybody, $40 a person. Everyone, 100% participation is the goal. The goal isn't, hey, we're going to have a dollar amount. We're hoping to raise this much money to give away. No, it's not a dollar amount. It's participation. Our goal is 100%. Every single person wants to participate in this. And it's only $40 a person. Now, if you hear me say $40 a person and you're saying to yourself, that doesn't sound like very much. I mean, only $40? If you're in that position, then for you, it's not only $40. Because there's a little voice inside you telling you, I can do a whole lot more and I should do a whole lot more. And if you're listening to me say $40 per person, you're going, $40 per person? Oh man, okay, I'm gonna figure that out. Then it's $40 for you. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. That's where you are. Wherever you find yourself in that position, follow your heart, okay? $40 per person. You need to indicate Give, Love, Serve, or GLS on the memo of either if it's a check you do, which checks are great, whatever. If it's cash, then it's just cash because we have envelopes. You'll put cash in an envelope and put that GLS on there so we know that it's going for this. Because 100% of the funds given towards this go towards this. The church doesn't, use that with the general funds for bills or other things for keeping this building open. Or no. This is 100% funds that are sent to go out and make a difference in the community in that way. And by the way, we already do that. I mean, like if you give to our church on a regular basis, I want you to know that we are constantly giving to places within the community. One of them that I think of is Saginaw City Rescue Mission. That's one of the ones that we made a commitment to say we're going to give to you every month. And every month we're going to send you a set amount. And that's what we do. We also take on other things. You might have remember us doing a canned food drive. As soon as this coronavirus thing happened where they shut down restaurants, we knew waitresses and servers were going to be in a world of hurt because they live week to week on their tips more than they live on their check. Their tips are the multiple income. So if they're saying that all of a sudden tips are stopped, we knew they'd be hurt. So we put ourselves in action and created that plan where we started distributing canned foods and all kinds of stuff, and it's incredible what we accomplished. We'll talk more about that next week. We'll have a whole report telling you what we did with that. But it was phenomenal to see our church into action, and we're doing it constantly. Somebody just told us today about someone they reached out for to help. We helped them, and our church jumped into action, said, yes, we're going to help. And that's how we show love around us. We do it all the time. So it doesn't just happen once a year, but this is one time where we're going to do it specifically, put all of our funds together into one big, huge amount, and then give it out to some very deserving heroes, some very deserving charities in our community that are doing great things. And we want to empower them to keep on doing what God's called them to do. We want to empower them to do more. And then on November 1st, we'll kick off Serve. Now this is what's new this year. I am so excited. And November 1st is today. So this is what's exciting. We are going to sign up for helping out different places. It doesn't matter. If it's a place that you already like if you're like, hey, I especially like the Whaley's Children's Home or whatever, and I've helped there before, go for it. It's okay. If you've got a specific place, that's good. But we're going to have some suggestions out in the hallway. As soon as you leave here today, there's going to be a friendly face looking at you when you go to leave the room and going, hi, and walk up to that table and put your name down and a date that you can serve one of those. And if you're going to do your own thing, then just let them know. Say, hey, I've got this own thing I'm going to do. Because we want to help. And we're asking you to give a minimum of 1 hour in the month. And that's easy. 1 hour of our time to say, I'm going to go somewhere and just help somebody. And maybe it's something you've never done before. Maybe it's something that you've done before, but this is another time. But we want to do this, and then when we're all finished at the end of the month, we're going to find out how many hours total we accumulated as a group. And we're going to celebrate that. Look at what we did. This many hours is good. Now, we got these cool shirts today. When you sign up to serve, we're going to send you away with one of these shirts today. Because we want to ask you to wear it when you're serving. Now, it doesn't say Silver Creek Church anywhere on it. And it doesn't have your name. Hi, my name is Bob. Sorry, Bob. If there's Bobs out there, I'll just think of names that aren't in the room. If you're out there, I apologize. But Bob, you're a good guy. Robert. So, So this is for us to wear. The idea is not to toot our own horn. You don't have a little burp, burp, doesn't have a horn attached to it. Not to say, look at me, Facebook. No, this isn't for Facebook. The purpose of this is to get a picture of you doing it, give it back to me, so that when I make a slideshow showing what we've done, that is only shown in-house, like we only show it for our group to see, we want to celebrate together whatever, because unless you're going to follow each other around and see what everybody does, how will you know? So this is how we celebrate. It's good to talk and celebrate about the good things that we're doing, and that's the purpose. Not to toot a horn, beep, beep, not at all. It's to celebrate what we're doing corporately as a church together. And by wearing our shirts, it shows unity for all of us. So that's what you can do back there today. Again, the second table right after we leave. And lastly, we have love. And does anybody know what this symbol's for right here?
Infinity.
Perfect. I was so worried. I didn't know if you would say, well, there's a car. No, it's not a car. It's infinity. And infinity, I chose that because the point is that this part of the love, there aren't any start and finish dates for this part of this. It's ongoing. We've already been doing it, and we're going to keep on doing it long after this. But love is the major force, it's the major motivator throughout the whole deal that we're doing. So, I just want to wrap up with this last little part here and remind us of something. Politicians are elected because of what they promise they're going to do. Politicians are elected because of what we hope they'll accomplish when they've been elected into office. But I want you to remember the difference. That Jesus Christ was never elected. In fact, when he was put to popular vote, he was killed. Jesus was never elected. Jesus has taken the position of kingship in our hearts because of what he already did. Unlike a politician, he's not promising something he will do. He's already done it for each and every one of us. He's given his life for us. He showed us what love really looks like to the disciples and to us. To say, now watch this example and do that. Do that for other people. And you may not have to lay your life down for someone else this next week, but maybe instead of laying your life down, you could lay your politics down for just a little while and show compassion, understanding towards someone else's hurt that they might be going through because their side might have lost. Or maybe you're going through it because your side lost. And now you need to show, okay, Lord, I trust you. I trust you. No matter who's voted in office, my trust is in you, Jesus Christ, not in the politicians. And as we all focus our lordship, our our focus, our trust in Jesus Christ, that's going to bring us together this week instead of dividing us apart. Because you will be on center stage. People will be looking at you all week long. So remember who you are. Remember that you're not identified by the party that you vote with. You're not identified by the place that you work. You're not identified by the city or the state that you were born in. You're not identified by the church you go to. You're identified because of your choice to put your faith, hope, and trust in Jesus Christ. That's how people should know you first and foremost. And this is our opportunity to be different. This is our opportunity to be known. This is our opportunity to spread peace where there's going to be very little peace, and hope where there maybe not be very much hope to a lot of people who had everything resting on how this election would go. This is our chance to minister to people around us. So let's do that. Let's be different. Let's be weird. Let's be awesome. And let's do that this next week. Will you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we put our trust in you. And we have to say that every single day, Lord. Will you help us on Wednesday morning when we wake up to start with that? Will you remind us on Wednesday morning to start with today? This is the day that you have made, God. I will rejoice. I'll be glad in it. Before I even look or hear what the elections are, I'm going to say first and foremost, God, whatever happens, my trust is in you. My hope is in you. And so, Lord, I'm not going to allow that to determine whether I have a good day or a bad day today. Today, I'm going to have a great day. Today, I'm going to show others around me what it means to look beyond politics and what's happening, to look at something that's eternal, at a person who already gave his life for us. Help me to talk about that today, Lord. Help me to show people a rock-steady faith. Help me, God, I need your help. So help us with that, Lord. And together, Father, with your leading, with your example, we can make an incredible difference and love on a world that needs you more than ever. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Hi, everyone. Morning. We're going to do a little bit of worship today. Go ahead and stand up if you feel like it. Joy into my life. till all my fears are gone. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins, and I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and say, I am a child of God. Oh, you split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and say, I am a child of God. Yes, I am. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Yes, I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. One more time. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Jesus, we just thank you for this moment. Just with everything that's going on right now, with everything that's about to happen this week, Lord, that we can rest in the knowledge that we're your children, that there's no fear that can captivate us more than your love, Lord.
next week.